And make no mistake about it, that little penny commercial was used as a blueprint because LeBron James in the mid-2000s had a very similar Nike ad, except he played himself in a lot of different alter egos. I'm talking about the commercial where he had the afro, the smooth talking guy, and then he had different versions of himself jumping off the dive board into the pool. That ad is really coming off the blueprint of the Penny Hardaway and Chris Rock ads. And just to add more context into that Nike deal, Penny Hardaway shoes in the 90s retailed for $200. At the time, it was almost $70 more than most Air Jordans retailed for. So the collaboration between Penny Hardaway and Nike has always bared fruits even back then. And it's been one of the better success stories for a player having his own signature shoe that most players, even current day, haven't even reached up to.
Do you remember where you were? Well, I don't know whether it was Nike or your agent when they came to you and said that you're going to get your own shoe.
Yeah, I was in Orlando, man.
Give you
Yeah, I was in Orlando and I was kicking. And just probably after a practice, my agent called me and was like, Nike want to meet. I'm like, all right, when we going to Oregon or are they coming here? They're like, no, we going to Oregon. I said, cool. I said, damn, that's a long ass flight. He said, man, get your ass on that plane and get to Oregon.
Right.
You know how long that flight is? And I was like, cool. I got on the plane.
Especially from Florida.
Yeah, got all the way out there. And then all of a sudden we walk in the room. I'm seeing a lot of people. I'm like, damn. All right, what's up, everybody? I sit down at the table. They go, Penny, we brought you here because it's time for us to bust out the Air Penny 1. I said, Air Penny 1, what? What are you talking about? They were like, no, we about to give you your own shoe. I said, oh, man, I think I got up, walked out like, dog, I'm a sneakerhead. I'm about to have my own shoe? You can't even dream this stuff up. I'm like, dog, this going for me in a row, like how it goes for guys that, it ain't happening like that every day for people like they walk into Nike and go,
exactly.
You got your own shoe because my rookie year, I wore 7 or 8 different styles of Nikes, from the Air Up to the regular Nike to I wore the J's with the number 1 on the back, all that, all the different shoes.
That's how much Penny Hardaway was balling out. Usually you see guys on Michael Jordan or LeBron's level to get their own signature shoe right away early into their career. Even Kobe didn't really get his signature shoe until almost 8 to 9 years in. But the way Penny Hardaway was playing, that shit was undeniable, even with Shaq on the court.
And to get my own shoe, I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy. I couldn't believe it.
So to go from that to tell me about when you saw the samples of the models and then all the way to the point to where they telling you you about to do this Lil Penny commercial.
Yeah. So I just wanted my shoe to be a shoe that you can wear on and off the court. Just like everybody rock the J's. You can hoop in them and you can rock them with sweats, with shorts, whatever. I was like, as long as my shoe can be represented off the court, just like it can be represented on the court, I'm good with that. Because I didn't just want a sneaker just strictly for the court that nobody would wear off the court. And they did a brilliant job, man. They brought the samples, looked at the samples, was like, yeah, this joint is nice. They can rock these off the court. And Nike did a phenomenal job on that line.
Well, I had a little penny doll. I can't even find it no more, but I had a little penny doll. I went and bought me my mom bought me a little penny doll.
And that was crazy.
How was it to hearing that they was going to go with a little penny doll and start doing your commercial? Your commercial is some of the most iconic commercials ever
I appreciate y'all.
Been done in the basketball history.
Yeah, so for me, it was, they sat me down and it was like, we know you're a quiet assassin, because I wasn't really a trash talker unless somebody started with me, and then you can go back and forth. I was just hooping and just trying to destroy dudes. It wasn't no talking, it was just let's get to business. So they're like, we're gonna get somebody that's gonna talk trash for you. And his name gonna be Lil Penny and he's gonna be a doll. And they told me the concept, I laughed and I was like, dude, we gotta do that because that's gonna be so dope. This little dude talking all the shit and then I'm just gonna go back it up.
Right.
I ain't gonna say nothing, but he gonna do all the talking. I thought that was dope.
A few times in NBA history, a couple of cross-marketing opportunities kind of came around at a perfect timing. We seen it in the 1980s with the Bad Boy Pistons and the Oakland Raiders hat. And also at the time, the NWA group kind of came about and they used the same Raiders colors as branding. And right here, Penny Hardaway just getting into the league, a comedian was on the rise by the name of Chris Rock. And those two forces came together just at the right time.
Well, Eddie Murphy and Martin and Damon Wayans, was them the ones that they was trying to get to be the voice first?
I think they was
before
trying.
Chris
I
Rock?
definitely know about Damon Wayans and Martin Lawrence. I don't know about Eddie Murphy, but they could have, and they all turned it down. It wasn't big enough for them because them dudes was the dudes back then. Chris Rock really wasn't.
Super,
was.
yeah.
So
super.
when Chris Rock did it, he was like a not well known at the time, and when he did the Little Penny voice, it definitely helped get him to where he was going.
Like I remember it, like when them commercials dropped, like they was like the biggest thing. So like, how was that for you? Because it was like, not only do you already got a dope shoe that's coming out, and clearly the shoe was doing numbers in the stores. Because I remember that was like the only shoe that dropped that was like could compete with the Jordans for prices and stuff like that. And it was like this for a second with y'all with the J's and the pennies. Pennies really had that type of vibe. So like did Nike call y'all like, man, the commercials are going crazy. We got to do more. Like this is like we didn't think it would be this big of a deal. Like like for marketing, like they hit like a super crazy home run. How was that when they started to see those results? Like how did you hear about it from that side?
Yeah, there was an advertising agency called Whiten and Kennedy, and there was a guy that worked with them named Stacy Wall. He was the guy that kind of helped create the Little Penny deal. And Nike's so strategic on how they do things. They always capitalize at the right time. So they didn't want to flood it, but they wanted to put enough out where everybody stayed hungry, and then it became a thing. So that's why they're so smart and so brilliant. They didn't want to just make 15 commercials and go boom, 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 boom. They basically was like, we're going to piece it out there and make people be hungry for it. And that worked. So when the numbers and everything went through the roof, it was like, okay, it's time to make another one.
You know, it's interesting because Nike seems like they were a lot more creative without social media back then. Nowadays, because the social media kind of serves as a crutch, there's the marketing side of the shoes and just the newer athletes coming in, even though they had their own popularity before joining Nike or any other shoe brand, it just seems like they rely too much on someone else's following in order for that shoe to translate. And plus the designs have to be on point. Nowadays, we're seeing a lot of alterations of what looks like a Kobe low-top shoe just alternated.
And when that went through the roof, okay, it's time to make another one. So they were just really smart about how they did that.
When he said, that's Tyra Banks, fool. When you did the Tyra Banks commercial out of all that, how hard did you laugh when you heard him say that?
Man, you know, he was never in the studio with me. I just heard the voiceovers. I couldn't get through the commercial. Every time I heard what he said, they was like, all right, cut, start over. I said, my bad, bro. I don't know what he gonna say, but when he say something, I'm just gonna laugh. And it took me a minute to make my commercial because everything he said, I was like laughing. And they was like, yo, you can't laugh. You got to get through it. I was like, cool, all right. And I finally got used to it, but in the beginning, bro, it was tripping me out.
That's crazy.
Who came up with the ideal of MJ wearing your shoe and you wearing MJ's shoe in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think when I wore MJ's shoes, it was, you know, before he came back. And then when he came back, they didn't have an Air Jordan that was available because he didn't make one. And then he was like, well, he called me kid. Give me kid shoes. Like, that's what he called me, kid. I'm gonna get these shoes, right? So he rocked them joints, and I was still sitting out there going, this man got my shoes on. Was he cut the number 1 off the back? But he just kept the shoes. He was like, I'm just gonna cut the number 1 off the back. I thought that was crazy because he's never worn another shoe outside of Air Jordan.
That's what I'm saying.
Never.
Like when you what is that like hearing that MJ about to wear your signature shoe, bro?
But I'm gonna tell you this, I didn't know he was gonna wear them. That's how much respect he had. I got in the game, you know, free throw, and I looked down, like, damn. He got on the shoes, like, I'm tripping. I saw that, I was like, oh, we gonna beat him.
You know, the media at the time, they kind of used that as a flame for Michael Jordan because even though when he first came back, he lost to Penny and Shaq in the playoffs, he wasn't really physically ready. Going into the start of the next very season, without Shaq, Penny Hardaway was able to defeat Michael Jordan. And then the media started creating a narrative that Penny has completely taken Jordan's spot. That's how amazing Penny Hardaway was at the time. But as we've seen in the Last Dance documentary, Michael Jordan loves to find hate to use as fuel as motivation. So in the 96 playoffs, he completely shut Shaq and Penny down. I mean, these guys couldn't even get the ball up half court. That's how much the defense between him and Scottie and just the Bulls overall was just so dominant.
He ain't going to get nobody's shoes.
Did you say something? Did you say something to him?
Hell no. I let him do whatever. I let him be. Hell no. I said, no. I'm going to leave. I'm going to let a sleeping dog lie. Go ahead, MJ. I appreciate you rocking them joints. I ain't say nothing about the shoes. I ain't say nothing. I'm like, I'm not bothering this dude. Let him be.
These are one of my most favorite shoes ever made by Nike. Is the Foamposite.
Yes, sir.
Like,
excellent job.
Them shoes, something about them shoes, they give me the feeling of the patent leather Jordans. You know, they so unique and they so outside the norm of any other shoe that's ever really been made.
They look very futuristic even today. Shoes are not made with that type of material and they don't even look like that. You can even look at all the models of the LeBron shoes throughout his whole career. None of them add up to the one design of the Foamposites.
Reason I hate it so much because they don't make Foamposites in size 18.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They go up to like a 15 or a 16 or so forth on like that.
Yeah.
But tell us the story of how Foamposites came into play. I heard it supposed to have been for another player, but you wind up seeing them and taking, and you look at them today like, man, Foamposites go from $1,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 at this point now, but it's like the icing on the cake for the whole penny collection is with the Foamposites. So tell us the story about the Foamposite.
Yeah, they never told me until way later that the phones was probably for Scottie and Scottie didn't like them.
Wow, Scottie Pippen is fucking crazy. Not only he signed that 10-year bad contract, he made the mistake of not choosing the Foamposites. Oh man, Scottie's been taking L's left and right for most of his career. God damn, he passed up the Foamposites.
Liked them right away when they showed them to me.
Scottie?
Yeah, I think Scottie was supposed to have been the one that got showed the phones first because, you know, he's champion, 6-time champion.
Yeah, no, I definitely
he deserved all that.
No, we not never questioned it. I'm just,
hey,
I've
so
never known that was supposed to be for him.
I never talked to Scottie about that. Me and Scottie close, but I never talked to him about the phone because they didn't tell me right away. But I'm going to ask him one day, like, yo, because Scottie Pippen Jr. plays here in Memphis, so he comes to a lot of the games. I'm going to ask him one day. But when I saw the shoe, I loved it right away because I was like, this is something different. Anything different, I was going to rock.
Yeah.
And I instantly loved them right away, and I put them on, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's like, thinking about that, like you said earlier, like, you know, you a sneakerhead. For you to get your own, you know, your own sneaker, your signature shoe, looking back at it and seeing how the sneaker community, and then even when you think about that time, I don't know shoes tales or nothing like that, but I know in that era, amongst the hood, like your shoe was probably like one of the only shoes that legitimately could say, I competed with the Air Jordan. There was some people that liked it over the Air Jordan. It was a conversation. It was an argument. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, that price point told you everything you already needed to know. Those shoes retail for $200 back in the 90s. Most of Michael Jordan's shoes, the retail was under $130. So you're looking at almost a $70 markup and it was still selling.
Nobody else can really say that. Like, and then when you look at the whole line you didn't put together, like I remember I was over at Jeff's house one day. He had some penny box, like all of the like, it's crazy. Like when you look at that, you know, the lineup you put together, like how did that make you feel in retrospect? Like now, you know, you got 20/20 hindsight, sneakerhead, but you like embroiled in the whole sneaker community with one of the toughest shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like how that feel?
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man, because I am a sneakerhead, and just to see the whole line, you know, to have all the pennies with all the phones, with everything that they've done, with the collabs, with everything, I couldn't even imagine that, bro. They went crazy with it because Nike's always about evolving and even like moving on with my sneakers and the colorways and everything that goes along with that sneaker, man. It is just, it's crazy just seeing that whole line, just from the first penny all the way through everything, every foam, and how it's just lasted through the times with the sneakerheads, and it's even more popular now than even what it was back when we first started rocking them joints.
Way crazy. So crazy that they stealing them off your porch, ain't it? Like, how crazy?
Man, they stole my Slam magazine joints, man.
How did that happen? Like, what was you, when you found out they stole them off the porch?
Yeah, so it wasn't. So I'm going to tell you what happened. I think it was true setup for me because it was a delivery I have a gate, and my house sits like 100 yards off the street.
Right.
They know not to ever leave anything outside my gate because they know that people will come through there or whatever. You know how it is. These poachers, they stealing packages all day.
Yes.
They put 27 boxes on the outside wall. Everybody driving down my street can see these boxes.
Yeah, the fix was in on that. They knew what those shoes were, and they probably knew that was your house. Oh my God, who the hell would put 27 boxes outside of someone's gate? That's crazy.
Yeah.
My house is 100 yards back. They didn't hit the phone. They didn't try to hit anybody to say, hey, you at home? If you're not at home, we're going to bring these back tomorrow because this is such a big delivery. They put them Jones outside, like basically on the street, like you put your trash on the street.
It was like coming to America.
Hey, and all of them joints was a one-of-one Slam Magazine collab that they only did Bronze Shoe and Sabrina Ionescu. Our 3 shoes were the only ones that collabed, and it was a crazy colorway.
Dang.
And this one dude come through there with a damn grocery store basket. And I tell you, that dude walked down the street with all kind of boxes and baskets and stuff, man. How he pushed that stuff down the street and got away with it.
Made it do what it do.
He made it do what it do.
That's unreal, bro.
That was crazy, but yeah, that's bonkers. But Nike, respect and love to Nike, they remade all those shoes and they're sending them back to me. So, because those were one-on-ones. Yeah. Those aren't going to be going to the market.
Damn, those are going to the market. They're going to the resale market, getting flipped for about $7 grand a piece. Somebody came up off of that.